Welcome back to Lofts. As you know, I've only been flying now since 2020. I got my first young birds last year. I flew them in a young bird season. Then I've kept them on as old birds and now I've bred off them. And I've got my young birds off them now. But I've had a bit of a problem when the loft 2 days ago when I've had green poos basically and green droppings off the birds. So I've started to worry about it, so I've cankered them and done all the canker treatments. I've done it for 4 days. I was only supposed to do it for free to make sure it went through the system, just to make sure that they had the right amount. And the cocks bounced back a little bit, but not as good as I wanted to. And the hens started then blinking and then started looking a bit sorry for themselves. So what I've done is I've decided to get some new medicines in. So I didn't really know what it was because I read up it was canker, but a top flyer from Stoke-on-Trent I was talking to, and as I said, this fella's of vaster knowledge when it comes to things like this. He's just told me, I think it sounds like cocky to me. So I've went down there and Paul Stokes, the fella's name, is absolute cracking fella. And what he's done is he sold me some medicines. I've got some cocky, some canker, 2-in-1 soluble rather than just having a canker one and then a cocky one. He's also sold me some E. coli stuff. Absolutely brilliant, and the prices were sound. Were absolutely sound, the prices for them. So I made up with them. So I'm going to tell you, actually, I want to show you the medicines later in the video. I'm going to tell you how you can get them. But as I said, the fella is absolutely brilliant. He's a top flyer and he really knows his stuff like. So as I said, I'm going to get them cocky today now because of it. I've got all the medicines. I've got 3 waters for today for the hens, the cocks and the young birds and the hens on that side. I've got 3 waters filled, well, I've left overnight to make sure that the medicines do the job properly. I'm going to get in this loft now, clean it out. I don't put the medicines in till the last minute because Paul told me yesterday that the medicines throughout the day go weaker and weaker. So the best time to do it is straight before you're about to put it in the drinker. So it's a good idea, and I never knew that. That's something I've learnt. As I said, another thing Paul told me is to stop using loft white as much as I am, because the loft white that I've got causes respiratory, and a lot of it, the way I use it, because obviously I cover the floors in it, cover the perches in it, cover the landing board in it, everywhere is loft whited in my loft. So I'm listening to him because he knows his stuff. So I'm going to get rid of the loft white. I'm going to use it in the trays a little bit just to keep the trays dry, but I'm going to make sure that I brush any excess off. I'm not going to leave any thick piles in like I have been, because respiratory problems, he said it will cause respiratory. So what I've done is I've went out and bought some bedding to throw underneath that's not got any loft white in, no powder, and I'll show you what I've bought in a bit. So right, what I've just done, I've just scraped the floor. I've scraped that panel, this panel and that panel. I'm going to do these last 3 ones here, and then literally, so I'm going to just drop these back and then just going to scatter this stuff that I've got in between each one of the squares so that it goes in finally, because the squares will break it up for me anyway. Right, this is the stuff. It's from Versalager. It's just Loft granules and it's anti-coxy granules, and as you can see, I've just ripped a hole in the bag so you can have a little look. Looks like a bit like cat litter, but apparently it keeps the loft dead dry and a nice atmosphere in the loft. It's got anti-coxy stuff in, which can only help. It's drier and it's better than loft white apparently. So I'm going to give this a go rather than loft white, because obviously I don't want my birds getting respiratory, because I have been given advice. So I do listen, and I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try this, and hopefully all goes well. I'll be using this for a while, so I'll give a little review on how I think it is next few days and let you know how it is, because I've never had it in before obviously. I'm going to scatter this around the loft right now. Yeah, I'm getting the stuff and just popping it through the grills of where the birds are actually going to be. But I can see straight away this is going to be better stuff than easy bed straight away. Keep putting it down through all the holes like so until this bag's gone. Spread it right round the loft. Make sure it's nice and clean. But as you can see underneath now, it's going to get all the absorb all the moisture. And I'm absolutely buzzing with this, so I'm going to do the rest. I'll let you know I'll get on, and then we'll get on to the medicines. I'm liking this stuff already. I've absolutely filled the floor underneath, so it's bone dry. As you can see now, it's all down at the bottom. I've also put it in my grills, just to keep all my grills dry. Dry them all out for the birds. Keep the cocky down, obviously, if you have got cocky. Right, I've just done in here as well, just put the granules down. You can see they're going to work already, where it's starting to damp. But I've just put them in the trap, I'll put them in the floor. Just scatter them all over the floor. Already you can see down there, but you can see that they're all nice through the floor now. I've even put them on the perches, so the perches have got some on. And I've still got that much of a bag left, the 2 sections, and that will probably be my hen section. So I've just got literally 3 lofts out of 1 bag, so it's a lot better for £8. Right, before I show you the medicines, if you need any of these medicines, I'm going to put the number on the screen now, and just give that fella a ring. He can tell you any, his name's Paul Stokes, he lives in Stoke-on-Trent, and he can give you any information that you need on them, and any about the prices. And if you give him any information about your birds, he'll probably be able to tell you what's wrong with them just on the phone. Not all the time, but just sometimes, because he has done with me. Luckily, only because it was an easy diagnosis, obviously. But basically, here's the medicines that I got from him. I've got a 2-in-1 canker and coxy soluble. This can go in the water or the food, this one. So I had cocky tablets basically, and the problem with it was I had to catch every single bird, and it's just time consuming because you've got to catch all the birds and you've got to put them all in. This is just a little bit easier for me, especially while I've got 3 sets of birds now. It's okay if you got just a few birds, the tablets, but obviously the more birds I'm getting now, the harder it is. So 2-in-1 soluble. I can't tell you the price, as I said, but give him a ring and he'll tell you the prices on all of these. Absolutely sound. Though I didn't pay much for them, I know that. This is Collie Stop. This stuff is for E. coli, and this stuff just goes on the water or the food again. So it can go on the food or the water. So it doesn't matter which one you put it on, and this just stops E. coli and other stuff. But I bought this just as a in case, but I'm going to use it just to make sure the birds haven't got anything. I always be safe to be than sorry, if you know what I mean. Even though it was just coxy, I'm going to put them on straight on after this anyway, just to make sure. And then I've got some wormers. At the moment I can't give the birds the wormers because they're still on babies, but I'm going to wait next few weeks, and I'm going to wait next few days. Once they're all passed over, I can start worming the young birds and start worming all the cocks and the hens, get them all wormed. This one goes in for 3 to 4 days, this one 3 to 4 consecutive days, and gets rid of any worms that you've got. A little bit better than the one that I used to have, but it's a really good one. But give him a ring and he can give you the prices on that. And this one goes in for 5 days, and I think that's 5 days as well. Yeah, both 5 days, so that's 5, and that's 4 to 3 days. So there's your medicines. As I said, numbers on the screen. Give him a ring, give him a call. Absolute cracking fella. Any information you need, he will give you it. And get down there. I'll show you the setup. I've even got a little video of the setup. His setup's unbelievable, guys, so I'll put that up on after this. You can have a little look through setup, because I took a little video while I was down there. But just before I go, I've got all other stuff as well in here. As I said, you have to be amoxicillin, antibiotics, typhoid cure, canker tablets. Dynamite, as you know, that's another canker treatment. Electrolytes, spot on, to put on the back of the neck. Quill boost, and Aviform 11-in-1, which is multivit. And guys, that's not all of it. I've got another box full of stuff in there. So if you are taking up pigeons, make sure you've got your money, because you're gonna need it. Anyway, let's get to it. I'll get this and I'll show you the loft now, Paul's loft, and I'm gonna put all this stuff away. I'm gonna get cracking. Let's go. Guys, before I go, a little shout out to Ian Farewell, Naomi Keogh and Tina. Now, because you've been asking me for weeks for a shout out on my videos, I've decided to call this bird Ian, after you, Ian. Alright, so if that doesn't make you happy, mate, I don't know what will. But my grizzle in the loft now, his official name is Ian, and the reason I'm calling this one is because this is Tina's favourite bird. When she comes down here, she absolutely loves it.